Hey guys, it's Whitney, and we're back today to do a full face of Sephora bestsellers. And what that means is we did skincare and a full face of makeup today to get this look right here. And what we did for our eyeshadow today, we used the Huda Beauty Coral Obsessions in conjunction with the Huda Beauty Desert Dust Palette. If you guys want to see everything else that we used on our face, which you could all buy at Sephora right now, and it's on the top of the list, then just keep watching. Okay guys, so the first thing we are going to do is my eyebrows. And on the bestsellers list, they had the Anastasia Brow Wiz, and I have the shades Medium Brown and the shade Ebony. And these are, and I have two different shades because Medium Brown's the first one that I bought, and I thought I might be a medium brown, but I wasn't. And I also lost the other end of this guy, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start filling in my brows now. And I have very dark eyebrows, so what I do is I use the medium brown to fill around, and I use the actual black to fill in my sparse spots on my eyes. Alright, and then next on our list, after we have the brows lined and filled in, we have the NARS Soft Matte Complete Concealer in the shade Light 1 Chantilly. And this is my own personal one because I wasn't about to buy a new one whenever I already own one. And all I do with this shade, since it's way too light for me, is I build mine up with, I just clean my brows up with them. So that's what I'm going to do right now. And I only do the top part of I do the top first. Sometimes I fill in the bottom with this, but usually it's only the top, just because it's so light, and I do not use this to prime my eyes. I usually always use an actual eyeshadow primer, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to use this to do the top part of my eye. I'm going to dip back into that guy. And I get a pretty good amount because I have to cover up this black that I put all over my eyes to clean that guy up. Cannot do that like that. I'm just going to use my big mirror right quick and do the other eye real fast. And after I have that put down on my eyes, I just take my pink beauty blender, which was also on the best-selling page. And this is the actual bubblegum pink one that I got from Sephora in the Christmas Sephora favorite set. This is a burn I got from my curling iron. That's a burn from my curling iron. And that's a burn from my curling iron. From where I've been curling my hair. And I guess I just enjoy burning myself. I don't know. And see how I pulled it down just a little bit too far right there? What I'm going to do is I'm going to take what's left over on that brush and just pull it down. Alright guys, for eyeshadow primer today, we are going to be using the Urban Decay Eyeshadow Primer Potion, and this one's the original. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to place that all over my eye, like such, on both eyes. And then all I'll be doing is blending that out with my middle finger. Alright, and then the two palettes I'm going to be using from the bestsellers list is the Huda Beauty Coral Obsession palette. That looks like that. Very, very pretty. I used it yesterday or the day before for a video I did, and it's, I don't know. I thought it was going to be better than what it was. Then we're also going to be using the Huda Beauty Desert Dust palette today. This is my own. I absolutely love it. I got this one for this video, and I went ahead and I tried it out mainly because I really wanted the yellow shade. That did not perform very well. So what I'm going to do is just I put this guy on is I'm going to go off camera and figure out one eye, how I want to mix these two together, and then I'll jump back up on camera for our second eye. And I'll be right back as soon as I'm done. Alright, I changed my mind, guys. We're going to do both eyes together because you really can't do anything but a warm eye. I mean, it is what it is. So what I'm going to do, since these palettes don't have names on the eyeshadows, is I'm going to take the middle color right here, right there in the palette, and I'm going to mix it with the shade Eden from the Desert Dust palette, this really light pink shade. So I'm just going to mix those two together, and they're going to be my first transition on each eye. Then I'm going to knock that brush off for sure. And I always put start my eyes up here since I do have almond shaped eyes. So I try to put most of the color there. And I'm just going to work that in like such on both eyes. And I kind of I pick a little bit up. I'm going to dip into each one more time. And I kind of wing mine out because that's what I prefer to do on my eye shape. So we're just going to do that on both eyes real quick. Alright guys, so as soon as we put down our first transition shade, and I'm just going to let you guys know I used a Morphe E27 for that. So we've got I like this brush. I got it in the Morphe Babes Faves I've set, the one that's $48 for 15 brushes. Next thing I'm going to do for the next shade down is I'm going to take a Morphe, an M441. It's like a little bit bigger kind of blender brush. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up the yellow shade out of the Coral Obsessions palette. I'm just going to dip my brush in there, knock it off, and I'm just going to put it barely below the first shade that we used. And work that on both eyes, just like such. Keep dipping, because the whole reason I wanted this little palette particular was for that yellow shade. And I'm building, right? Sitting here building, and I cannot get it to show up on my eye. So it's probably going to take you a while to build this shade up. Just letting you guys know. But I want to do it, and really the only choice we have to do is a warm tone sunset eye look today, because that's the only colors that we have today. So I'm just going to work that on both eyes, and like I said, I always kind of wing mine out right here. And I do it each time I work my eyeshadow down, I bring it down and just wing it out too. And that's what I do. So we're packing, and we're just going to pack that on both eyes, and we're going to do it on both of our eyes. Okay guys, and after we have the yellow shade down as our second shade, directly into the actual crease of my eye, we're going to dip into the shade Blazing, this bright orange. And I'm going to be taking that on a Morphe E22 brush that looks just like such. It's got a very kind of pointed tip on it, so it's going to go in the eye socket really well. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to dip that guy in there, knock it off. Now I just have some on the very tip. I'm going to start working that directly into the crease, like such. I'm going to switch to a smaller brush because I feel like that one's just way too big for what we're trying to do. I'm going to take a Morphe 573 brush like this. It's not dirty, I cleaned it. So I'm just going to start dipping that guy back in there, knocking it off, and I'm going to work it directly into the crease. We're going to make this a beautiful sunset look today with the very light melon pinks, yellow, and bright orange. We're going to work that directly into the crease. Windshield wiper motions. What you really need to do is, the most important thing I think before learning how to do any kind of eyeshadow tutorial is really figuring out what your eye shape is. Because I was really bad before I even knew. I always knew I had slanted eyes, don't get me wrong, but I did not know what my actual eye shape was. So I would always try to do the same looks as other people, and I could not figure out why it didn't look the same on me. But that was wise because I did not have the same eye shape as them. So we're just going to keep working this guy in here. Trying to make myself dead center of the camera. So we're just going to do that on the exact same eye. And this one I'm not really winging out. If you see, I'm bringing it around and just taking it right here in the actual socket. I'm not dragging it out like I did the yellow in the first shade. Now that I have that shade laid down, I'm going to go back into the yellow shade in the Coral Obsessions palette right here. I'm going to dip in there, knock that off, and I'm going to reapply the yellow to bring it back to our lid, like such. And I don't feel like either of these palettes are really pigmented enough to do anything. I don't know. I know that the Desert Dust palette was $65. I know that. And this one was 25 or 27. And I just feel like for that amount of money, these should blend like nobody's business. And now I feel like I'm getting really messy with it because I'm getting frustrated, you know? Like I just want it to work. Just want it to work. Because I feel like I keep having to go in, redo it, go in, redo it, go in, redo it. I'm going to go back into the shade Blazing from the Desert Dust palette and reapply him because we lost that guy for sure again. Put him back down like such. Go back in, do the other eye. So ended up what I pretty much had to do was go back and take that E22 brush and just take the yellow shade and smear it really high up. And now I'm just kind of blending it in the orange together. Like that's what disappoints me the most. It's like I said, I bought this palette for the yellow. And I thought that I would really enjoy this because the only other palette I have from Huda Beauty is the Desert Dust palette. But both of them, I feel like I keep having to do more and more and more just to make it have any kind of color. Next thing we're going to do is I'm going to pick up a Morphe E18, just a small little pencil brush right here. And I'm going to dip into the shade, I don't want to do something bright, I don't know. I'm going to dip into the brown shade right here in the Coral Obsessions palette, the darkest one in there. I'm going to pack it on the outer corner of my eye. And from what's happening right now, I'm not even going to knock off the excess because I know I'm going to need it to build up. What? Am I the one? Does this color look like this on my eye? I mean, come on now. Like, oh my God, dude. Am I the only person that thinks that this is very unpigmented? Now that I have the very, okay, now that we have that on, what I'm going to do, I'm trying to decide what shade I want to put on. I swatched these in my video the other day, but I'm going to show you guys just how similar the only two shades in the Huda Beauty palette is. And I'm even going to go over each swatch twice just to prove a point. Like, these are so similar. And don't get me wrong, I love that there is only two shimmers and 7 mattes in here. I absolutely love it. Can you guys see it? Look how similar those are. Like, why? Hold on, I need to get a makeup wipe. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take those two shimmer colors and mix them together. Even though I'm pretty sure it's still going to make the exact same color. Nothing's going to change with those two. So what I'm going to do, there's cat hair. I have cat hair all over my room, sorry guys. I'm just going to take this little Tarte Rainforest of the Sea little spray thing that I got in a sampler box. Oh, no, I'm not going to spray it first. I'm going to dip my brush in there first. I'm just going to get a little bit of each one, like such. And I'm going to spray the brush. I'm going to start packing that directly on my eyelid. I'm trying to get to where I can see. Like, it's a really pretty color. It's just, why would you put two? Like, I was really hoping that this one would be like super bronzy. Because in the pan, this one looks way more bronze than the one down here. Like, way more bronze. But together they look the exact same. I mean, and even sorry, I'm just gonna start complaining now. Even this one and this one look way too similar. Way too similar. Like, I know that this one's supposed to be darker, don't get me wrong, but they're way too similar to be in this palette. And then you put two shimmers in here that are pretty much the exact same color. Like, why even bother? Why not just put, shoot, you could have put like a bright neon purple or bright blue in here to go with it. And that would have been awesome. Like, super awesome. Sorry, I keep checking to make sure that I'm in focus. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put these both all over the eyelid. I'm not even going to mess around. I'm just going to put them both all over the eyelid. Okay, next thing on our Sephora bestsellers list was the Marc Jacobs Highliner. And I got mine in the shade black. And all I have is the mini sized one. And since I don't have a liquid liner, because I don't support Kat Von D anymore, so I got rid of my Trooper liner. And even if I had it, I would not use it on camera. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put it in my upper waterline, and I'll be right back. Then the next thing after that, obviously, is going to be mascara. And we are going to be doing the Benefit Roller Lash. And I absolutely love this mascara. I do. I'm just going to put that, throw that mascara to drop this stupid little Coral Obsessions palette. Really don't care. So I'm just going to throw my mascara on my eyes. Okay, so what I did for my moisturizer is I still did a Sephora bestseller. I used the Ole Henderson True Serum, this guy right here, on my face. And then for primer, I'm going to use the Benefit Professional Primer. What I'm going to do is I just take a little bit on your fingertip, like such. And I have huge pores. I mean, it's just my skin. I have huge pores with very oily and very dry skin. I know that sounds funny, but that's just my skin. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some right here on my forehead, just like such. And I'm going to bring it down between the brows. Then I'm going to take my other middle finger and do my chin and these huge spaces right here. And I'm breaking out right through here. And I'm just going to work this guy all through here. And I even put a little bit under my eyes to help with under eye circles. I feel like I keep getting a hair on me. And then for foundation, we have, of course, the Estee Double Wear Stay in Place Makeup. And I have mine in the shade 1M1 Ivory Nude. I am self-tanned right now, so this is probably going to be way too light. This does not come with a pump. This one I think is from MAC, and it fits this. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a little bit. I'm just going to put a little bit on each cheek, like such. And first I'm going to blend this in with this Morphe stippling brush that came from I got it from Ulta, from a Morphe set for, they put out at Christmas, $25 for like 5 different face brushes, I think. They also had an eye one they came out with as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to work that in all over the face. I'm going to push it in too. Cover up that nasty scar, those dirty pores. Yes, girl. I'm going to cover all them skanks up. Those are my little side skanks. The pores and the acne. And I'm not necessarily trying to cover up my freckles, but with the full coverage, I can usually guess how full coverage something is when it says full coverage by how well it covers my freckles. To finish blending that out, after I did a brush, I'm going to go in with the original Pink Beauty blender. And obviously it's damp, and I'm just going to work that in to soak up any excess foundation. You know what's crazy? Is this is the lightest shade they have in the Double Wear. And I have on 2 layers of self-tanner. And it definitely matches. Like, it's pretty dark. I thought I was going to have to use my Olive Pro Foundation Mixer from NYX in there with it. But no. For concealer today, I'm not going to use that NARS Soft Matte Complete Concealer in the pot. I'm going to use the Stick NARS. And this is in the shade Light 1 Chantilly. But this might also be really light. So if I have to, I'm going to mix in some of the Stay in Place Flawless Concealer Double Wear, since it is the foundation. So what I'll do is I'm going to put this directly under the eye, right here. And work that all the way around. What I'm going to do after I do that is I'm going to take my little e.l.f. Flawless Concealer brush. This is the only concealer brush I've found to work with concealer. I also put on some of the Double Wear to make this a little bit darker for me to match me now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and I pat this. I do not rub this. I pat it in underneath the eye like such. Let's make it work like this. And for me, it really, and I don't bring mine, I actually try to bring mine not even over this far when I do it, because I have very high cheekbones already, so I really, because I'm almost all the way Cherokee Indian, so I do not like to really emphasize my cheekbones. Like, that's not something I need. Like, I know why a lot of other people do it, but I do it just to brighten up the under eye. Sorry, my mirror's in the way. Let me move that guy down. And I'm just going to sit here and work on this. After we've got all our concealer blended out, we're next going to take the Too Faced Peach Perfect Mattifying Loose Setting Powder. I'm going to take a little bit of that. Dump that guy in the lid. I already had a little bit on top from her. Whenever I'm self-tanned, I love this powder. Now, I use my MAC Soft Matte Powder to put underneath my eye before I do this, but we're going to do this first. So I'm going to take that beauty blender that's still a bit damp, and I'm going to dip that in that guy, like such. God, dude, I swear to God, I've cat hair everywhere. And I'm just going to pack that guy underneath there. And like I said, I usually put a pressed powder down first, my MAC one. And then I just do a little bit of this, because I can't leave mine on for very long. So we got that on. I do the Bake Ones. And there we go. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a big powder brush and I'm going to powder my face. So I'm just going to use this powder brush that I got from TJ Maxx. I'm going to take some powder on my brush, start working that guy all over the face, like such. And as soon as I get my face powdered off, I wipe off the bake, because I do not like to leave that under there for a long time. The next thing we are going to dip into after we're done with that is the Anastasia of Beverly Hills Contour Kit. And mine is in the shade Light to Medium, because obviously. And what I'm going to do first is I'm going to pick up the yellow shade right there in the middle. And I'm actually just going to take that on my exact same powder brush that I used for my face. I'm going to dip into that guy, knock that off, and start packing it under the eyes. And this isn't very pigmented, so it's really good for beginners, this particular contour kit. So we're just going to keep packing that under the eyes. As soon as we're done with the yellow shade, I'm going to pick up my Morphe Y12, which is just a contour brush, and I'm going to dip into this shade right here on the end. I don't think that these have shade names. Oh, Java Vanilla I don't know what the shade name is, guys. Oh, I don't know. I'm afraid I'll snap my nail if I look. I'm just going to pack that on the brush, knock that off, and put that on my cheekbone right underneath it. My scar is showing. Got a lot about that. It's very pigmented. Oh, I'll be back. If you get way too much contour like I did, what you can do is you can pick up a stippling brush and start doing that. And then I just kind of try to transfer some up here, wherever else. After that, what we're going to do is we are going to pick up a contour brush. I'm going to wipe anything else I've had on it off of it. I'm going to very lightly dip into the bronze shade. I'm not going to use that one shade again. And what you want to do is you want to start right here underneath your brow and just drag it straight down. So we're going to do this and drag it straight down. And I got way too much right here up at my brow, so I'm just going to wipe that guy off. I'm going to use my sponge that I had before. I'm going to cover that up. So, next thing we're going to dip into after we do our contour on there and our nose, we're going to pick up Hoola Bronzer. Obviously, it's a classic, well known. I'm going to pick mine up on a huge fluffy brush. Just dip that guy down in there, knock some off, and just work around right here. And this shade is kind of, whenever I'm self-tan, is kind of light, but that's okay. I'm going to put some up here while I'm at it. Just going to work that guy right here. Put some up here, you know, same drill. Put some down here. That covered up my acne pretty good, I guess. So we're just working and working, working and working. There we go. And then for blush, one of the best sellers, of course, was Tarte Amazonian Clay 12-Hour Blush in the shade Concept. And these even have little mirrors, but these are like 27 bucks. That's what mine looks like. It's like a very, mine's got as peach with sparkle in it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wipe off my, I use this as a blush brush because I do not like a lot of blush. I'm going to use this guy to really show the pigment. This is from a BH Cosmetics marbled set. I'm going to pick that up, knock it off. I'm going to start right here, directly on top of the bronzer. It's a really pretty shade, if you guys can tell, like really super pretty. Then we're going to, for highlighter, the #1 thing was the Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector Pressed. And mine is, the one I have is in the shade Moonstone. Mine is tiny for some reason. I didn't realize whenever I got this, I must accidentally hit mini. I don't know. But I don't use this a super lot because I like a limited edition one that I got in the blue snowflake packaging for Christmas. I'm going to use mine with a highlighting brush from Morphe. It's the Morphe 501. Of course, there's a cat hair. So I'm going to dip and tap. I'm going to run this guy on here. You know what, guys? First thing we're going to do before I add more of that is I'm going to take my setting spray, which is the Urban Decay All Nighter Makeup Setting Spray. Bestseller. Everybody knows why. Spray that on. And then I'm going to put my highlighter on. So highlighter here. Highlighter here. And whenever your highlighter is on, do not let your face make expressions at all. Like, don't raise your eyebrows. You can talk. You can blink. That is it. Because any setting spray worth its money will pick that up and translate it. So that's something you don't want to do. See, I just don't feel like this highlighter, and don't get me wrong, it's blinding, but not to the extent a lot of them are. I'm also going to pick up a Morphe 213 tiny brush, take that and put it directly on my brow bone, like such. I'm also going to take it and put it in the inner corner, like such. So now that we have our highlighter on, we're going to finish off our bottom lash line. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a Morphe E26, and I'm going to dip into the yellow shade, tap it off, and just start working it directly underneath. And these do take a long time to build up. So it's going to take you forever to work on it. After we have the yellow down, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up the darkest shade from the Obsessions palette, the one that's not very dark, and we're going to put that directly on our lash line where the hairs are, like such. We're just going to bring it about half of the way over. And then last but not least, for our lips, we have the Too Faced Melted Matte, and I can't find my full size of this, in the shade Sellout. And from my understanding, this is the most popular one of these. So I'm just going to put that on my lips with my crappy little Girl Obsessions palette. I'm not going to use a lip liner today, I don't think.